I've been promising for a while now to do a video where I do the air screen repair a little faster, and I am finally here to do it a little faster. I actually have some time as well, so without further ado, let's get it done. Mostly using my chest muscle here to pull down. I'm not pushing down with my wrist, I'm doing it like, you know, think of it like doing flies at the gym. That's the right muscle to use to just peel right through this shit. Don't worry, I didn't just destroy the computer. That is actually the bubble wrap that's sitting right under it. I have a nice laminated work desk out there where I don't have to worry about scratching anything. This one here is not one of them, so when I get to work on this desk, I put either some napkins or bubble wrap or whatever the hell I have around under the machine, because I care about actually giving it back to people in the condition in which they brought it to me. Even on computers like this where it's obvious that the owner just don't give a shit because it's scratched to fucking hell already. I love using heat to make life easier. I'm using more heat to remove this bezel than I use when I solder fuses or QFN packages onto motherboards. So a common question is what temperature you're soldering at. Before you even ask, I have no idea because of analog temperature control. If I had a BGA rework station right here, would I care about temperature? Yes. If you're soldering small packages, do I give a shit about temperature? I just use what works. Okay. Now, one of the things I was reading on that iFixit page on the MacBook Air, it's impossible to take the bezel off without ruining it. I'm very, very close to proving that to be just a bunch of horseshit. Keep in mind that when a lot of people tell you how something is impossible, they're not actually telling you that it's impossible. What they're doing is they're reciting to you their story of personal failure. So when other people fail, it makes them feel better about their failure when they make it sound like it's just an impossible thing to do or like it's something that everybody's going to fail at. And you cannot let somebody else's story of personal failure affect whether or not you will attempt to do something. What somebody else says is impossible, I say, is completely doable with the help of a $5 tool from the Utrecht Art Supply Store. Bezel is off. Whew! Clean! Perfect. This is going to go back on without a single bend. Fucking iFixit, man. Okay. Fucking iFixit, man. Website dedicated to empowering people to fix shit themselves. A forum of people that discourage you from doing it. Gotta love the irony. You don't have to do what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just being lazy. I'm obviously never going to use this part again. So I don't really give a flying fuck if I cut it out for the computer or not. Okay. The other tech stole my tweezers. I have the best set in the store. Look at that shit. See what it has at the end? Hell, these are perfect. Amazing, beautiful tweezers. And since I have no idea where I bought them from, I can never find them again. And since I happen to have this bad habit of losing everything here, he hides them from my own good, so that I will not lose them and never find them again. This little backlight cable here is fuck shit. One of Apple's favorite things is having a black PC board and then using black tape on the black PC board to cover something so that you will destroy the machine in the process of trying to fix it. And that's what they do here. So this backlight cable just plugs into a connector on this polarizer board here, but we also tape it to the fucking board, which is black, and use black tape to do it all around. So if you just try to unplug this thing, you're going to wind up ripping it because it's going to be stuck to the board with this fucking black tape, which is complete and utter horseshit. But that's Apple for you. But usually I just try to take it out and not care, but here I'm trying to actually remove the tape. I like to try to find new ways to do things every time I work. New, better ways. Sometimes I just wind up wasting my time. Usually I just rip this black thing off of the board in a nasty manner without caring. This time I tried to do something different. Didn't work out the way I wanted. Oh well. Shit happens. Okay. That's the LVDS going on the screen right here. That's the little fucking backlight cable I told you about. Now, time to melt this shit out of here. Polarizer is glued in on the left side, the right side, and the top side. On the bottom side, it is adhesed to a bar, but I just unscrewed that bar and there's no glue on it. Now, I don't mind using a lot of heat on this thing before I take it off. After I take this off, I am going to have to lower the heat by a lot because the back layers will get burned instantly. Again, right now I have all this great insulation in the form of the polarizer, but once I take the polarizer off, it's going to be really easy to boil those back layers. So I like to heat it up very nicely before I actually pull this thing off, because see how easy that thing comes off when it's fucking 900 Celsius? And I'm just guessing, because I'm way above what I need to melt solder here. That thing just came right off. Okay, do the same thing to the other side. Because when this thing comes off without cracking, this job is just so easy. I know you want to try to crack. Fuck you. I'll gladly sit here and heat this shit all day before I crack it out of the back casing. This is completely cracked along the edge here, so I'm being extra careful. Because when this comes out in one piece, this is a beautiful, easy repair. But when it comes out in multiple pieces, it's a clusterfuck and a nightmare. Like on my first repair video I did. And I'm not a big fan of clusterfucks and nightmares. No, not one bit. Now I'm gonna get this adhesive here that the other guy stole from me, motherfucker. By the way, that's shop karma for when you steal tools from everybody else on a regular basis. You'll notice that they have no problem stealing tools from you. I'm gonna use this adhesive right here to hold one of these layers down, because it's gonna pop out. All these other layers are being held underneath these little like white things over here, but there's one layer that's just sitting there chilling that's gonna pop out and come out. And the second I remove the polarizer. And that's not good, because then I'm going to have to touch it to put it back in there. When you touch it to put it back in there, you get fingerprints on it, and then the job starts to look like a Craigslist job. And you know, I kind of pride myself in my jobs not looking like Craigslist jobs, so I want them to look good. So, you know, you don't even need that sheet. I mean, honestly, you can get away with not having that there. So if you have fucked it up, this first sheet here that has all of the, you know, it's kind of pinkish in color, you can get away with removing that. I'm not saying you should remove it. You know, you should get to a point where you don't have to remove it. But if you mess that up, you can remove it. When you start to remove the layers behind it, that's when the job will start to look like dog shit. But I would rather have that sheet not there than have it there and be messed up, if this makes any sense. The corners are really the only places you can actually get away with touching this thing, which is why I'm taping it in directly on the corner. Because you won't see the corner once the polarizer is put in. The absolute corner is out of view. Well, if it needs tiny little adjustments, I can do those adjustments with the tweezer in the corner, and I'm good. Okay, I'm removing the old adhesive now. This is why the other technician hides the good tweezers from me, because I do shit like this with them. Which I really shouldn't be doing. Don't ruin good tools like this. Especially if you share them with other people. Like, this is just fucking inconsiderate of me. Oh. God damn, what piece of shit. Okay. And the other side. You could completely get along with not removing the old adhesive. The reason I'm doing it is because it's a good habit, and if you get into the habit of not removing the old adhesive once, it's easy to justify not doing it again and again and again, and it's easy to get lazy, and then you'll just never do it because you can get away without doing it all the time, and then you'll get to a device where you really need to remove all the adhesive for it to be done properly, and you won't do it, and it'll come out like shit, and I don't want to get into the habit of letting things come out like shit. I'm making excuses for why my stuff comes out like shit. Alright, time to get the new screen plugged in. But first, need to get this metal bar off of the old screen. See this shit? It's a metal bar with the screw holes in it. So here's where I like to abuse my hackle and set it all the way up to 8. This bar is glued on. I boiled it a fair amount. Whew, comes right off. Old screen. Now I always make this mistake of going to take this adhesive off after I've boiled it. So what do you think the problem is of going to take the adhesive off right after I heated it to what I would think is 900 or 1000 Celsius based on the fact that I'm on 8 and 5 to 6 is hot enough for me to solder, where I usually solder at 700 Fahrenheit. I'm probably somewhere like way above 700 Fahrenheit. Yeah. But I don't really have much usable skin at the end of my fingerprints. The end of my fingertips at this point in my life anyway. So. Here we have the new piece. It's easy to forget which way this went. This metal bar goes behind the polarizer, not in front of the polarizer. This isn't good adhesive. I'm going to start selling it on the website again. I sold it for a short period of time and it sold like crack. So this 3M core adhesive. There's a clear grayish one and there's a black one. They're both awesome. You know, you can use either one of them and they're both amazing. You know, the people here prefer the clear one. I usually prefer the black one. It doesn't make a difference because they both do an excellent job. When you stick shit down with that adhesive, it never fucking comes off. And in this business, that is very valuable. Because I never want to see the fucker that owns this again. I want him to give me the money, be very, very happy, have a perfectly working machine, and never come back here with it. He can come back here with something else. He's allowed to come back here with something else, but not with this. This job needs to be good enough that I never see him again. Now I'm gonna wind up torturing myself trying to get the fucking backlight cable in. So I always plug the LVDS cable in first. And again, if you want to see me fucking around and trying to get this thing plugged in, there's another video with MacBook for the MacBook Air where I actually zoom in on this as I do it. It's really late at night, and again, I'm not really doing this to show you exactly how to do it. I'm just doing it because a couple of people said, "You said you could do it in 20, 30 minutes. Why don't you show us that you can do it in 20, 30 minutes?" The purpose here is not really to educate as much as it is to just shut some people up. So I'm not gonna drag the fucking camera over this thing right now, especially since the gym closes soon and I want to go there before I go home. Now, so got that plugged in. Now, this is not gonna plug in right unless you have the board kind of facing up like this and the assembly facing up like this. Don't expect to be able to twist this whole thing around and manage to fit it into this polarizer connector thingy. It's not going to work. So you have to have the board up and the cable up. And when both of them are out, you can put your tweezer in between that black tape I talked about that I hate and this, and just jam it in there. Because again, if you're actually trying to grab this fucking cable, good luck. Grabbing it is a pain in the fucking ass. But just pushing it in there, using that black tape that's attached to it, that is easy. You know, I try to turn things that I don't like into something that could help me. I look at all these things that drive me crazy and think, how can I turn this into an advantage? Instead of it just pissing me off. And that's one thing I've done with this little piece of black tape they put on this fucking cable. I've taken it from something that pissed me off, and I've turned it into something that helps me. So. Tempting as it is to ignore the fact that I lost one of the screws that holds it in, I don't have it in me to do it. My workstation is made for people like me. It really is. I have so many screws on so many little magnets that it doesn't matter how many I lose, I'm always in the lead. Okay. I like to turn it on and make sure it works before I glue it in. And what do you know? It works. Cool. So, what's next here? I have to put the adhesive on so that this thing will stay in. I need to get a new nozzle for my air compressor. We destroyed this thing. I mean destroyed this thing. Now at this point the ultimate in discipline is required, because there is absolutely jack shit you can do about things that are sitting behind here. And every single attempt that you make to make it better is actually going to fuck it up 10 times worse. In terms of getting rid of dust or any kind of shit like that. Like, by the way, that's why the nozzle doesn't work. I'm pretty sure the little green light being on means that the webcam came unplugged or half unplugged or something. Oh, the fun of doing this work at night. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep the camera rolling for this just because this is such a fucking great example of why I hate doing work after it's time to leave. So, when I was removing the camera, the bezel, this little motherfucker came off of the camera board. Now, as I said, I want my videos to be unedited to the end, meaning every single little fucking thing that you're gonna fuck up will show up here. So unfortunately, as my luck calls, no 20-minute repair. Oh well. But at the very least, you will get to see a really stupid problem, and then me fix the really stupid problem. So this is a 2010 machine. Now, does the 2012 webcam work? Yes. Does it reach? Not really. So, I have to make my 2010 webcam work again. Which means soldering this little motherfucker back where it belongs. My luck. My beautiful, beautiful luck. Oh, fail. What a fail. You know, as stupid as I feel right now, this is honestly one of the things you pay for when you pay for a real technician to do it, instead of just, you know, having some random person that says he'll do it for 20 bucks to do it. Because when I lose that little thing, I actually decide to stay here and postpone my life to find that little 0603 packaged device instead of go home. Because I have a responsibility to the customer to return this thing in the same fucking condition that they brought it in. Even though I would like nothing more at this point other than to just say fuck it, make up some random excuse, and go home. Now, especially since this is my last soldering tip that I have left, and this, honestly, I can do a lot of work with a big tip, and I like having the big soldering tip, but in this particular situation, this is really not helping me. I dare not use hot air right this close to a camera lens. It also, admittedly, I just don't want to wrap the thing in Captain Tape. I just want to go the fuck home. So I did it with the iron instead of with the hot air station. Now here's going to be the magic moment. When I turn this on, is that little fucking light going to be green? Is this going to blow up in my face? Or will I be able to see myself in the computer when I'm done? One way to find out. Don't blow up, don't blow up, don't blow up. Oh, fuck yeah! Okay. Now it's time to finish this thing and get the fuck out of here. Happy fucktards? Didn't do it in 20 minutes. There's always a next time. That's a beautiful smell right there. Again, it's a good habit to remove the old adhesive. You can get away without doing it, but it's just the shitty thing to do. Especially on a computer where 90% of the damn top case is held together by glue. You really don't want to be using the old glue. Not any of this old adhesive. In addition to my small roll of adhesive being stolen, my big roll was as well. Yeah, remember what I said about karma? This is so not 20 minutes. Talk about embarrassing, man. Talk about embarrassing. Fuckity fuck shit. One of the other places where people really start to fail in this business is they have one thing that they gotta get done and they have to do it late and they fail at it, like I just did. But once one thing goes downhill, they lose their confidence in themselves. And when you lose your confidence, everything starts to go downhill, and everything you do, even just the simple peeling of adhesive, starts to become jagged and just messed up in every possible way. If it's really late and you're doing one last job, and you have to do one last job, don't let your confidence get decreased when one thing doesn't go the way it's supposed to. And don't start just pulling and hacking away at things because you want it to be fast so that you can go home. Keeping your calm is really important. It's not about the smartest people who get these jobs done. It's not the person with the steadiest hand. It's not the person with the most knowledge. It's often the person that just acts relaxed, slowly and calmly thinks things through. Now, if I start losing my mind and going all over my desk like this to find that little resistor, that thing is gone. But if I calmly go, where's the bezel? How did I put it down? Oh, I put it down here. Oh, here it is. I'm going to find that thing. Even if it is almost midnight. And I'm going to finish the job, and I'm going to go home without having to make up some excuse as to why the guy's webcam don't work. Why he has to wait more to get it done. Just stay relaxed, relax, and all will be fine. It's the hardest thing to teach new people that start here as a tech. Fuck one thing up and it's, oh my god, oh, okay, be really careful. And then in the process of being really careful, they don't take off the thing that they have to take off because they're not pulling hard enough. So then they wind up breaking the thing behind the thing that they were supposed to pull off because they're not pulling it off right, and it just all goes to shit. Just chillax, calm down, walk away from it for a minute if you have to, and then come back and do the job. It may be hard to believe this due to the PG and G-rated language I use on this channel, but when I turned the camera off and I noticed that thing wasn't working, I actually cursed a couple of times. Yeah. Now the fun part. When all is said and done, and I have defeated this piece of shit. Oh, fuck you and your back layers, fuck you and your adhesive, fuck you and your pain in the ass bezel, fuck you and your shit ass webcam with sticking out resistors in between the fucking glue that holds the bezel to this thing. It is with joy that I tell this thing to go fuck itself because I've won. And it's cool to win. Of course, the corner has to be bent in on this thing since it's the last job of the day before I go home. That's just how it is, though. I tell every single job when I'm done with it, whether it's a motherboard that's being troublesome when replacing the chip that's supposed to fix the problem doesn't fix it, or a hard drive that works right up until the end of it where something important is stored or the partition's not showing up. I, with joy, tell everything when I'm done with it to go fuck itself. It is my way of defeating the device that has been a pain in the ass. And I always take pride in defeating the pain in the ass. With that said, all done.